welcome everybody to season 2 or season 5, race 2 of the TDR Legends and First Responders here at Iowa. Like to welcome the partner in my booth, Tommy Aber. Tommy, how you doing tonight, bud?
Man, I'm excited to watch the show between the cornfields. This should be something pretty interesting. A track similar to Darling. It's a short track, not on the official NASCAR Cup Series, but we're going to bring the next gens here unofficially, and maybe the boys up at NASCAR will take some notes on this race.
Yeah, this is kind of my hometown track. It's not very far from me, and I've wanted to get down and watch a race there for a while. I was talking to a friend earlier. I guess they race the Indies cars here, and they put on a pretty good show as well. So hopefully this track gets a little bit more attention. We'll see how these next gen cars handle on this track tonight.
Yeah, you and I were talking to some of the drivers as they started to hit the track there in practice. We know there's a couple bumps on the tracks. We got a big one on the high side of, I believe, turn one.
Yep, that's the way that sounded. Yeah, on the high side of turn one.
So a little something to watch out for, especially later in the race. I was doing some research earlier and watching past events here. The bottom of the track works really well on fresh tires, but as the track rubbers in and gets some more compound down there in the concrete, the track starts to fade up, and that bump might come into play later in the race.
Yeah, it's usually like a low line start, like you were saying there, and then you work your way up, and it's about it. I've raced in this track a few times in the Xfinity cars and on the official series when they have it around, and it's a fun track to drive. We'll see how these next gen cars handle on this track. And talking to a couple of guys earlier that practiced it, so the setup felt more hooked up than it seemed like it did last week for these guys. And well, guess we'll have to wait and see what happens here.
Yeah, about a lot of the names we see here week in, week out through the last 5 seasons we've had. Smaller field again tonight. I know a few guys are traveling for personal reasons, and some guys just can't be here tonight. So for all you that couldn't make it, big shout out to you guys, and we hope all is well.
Yeah, definitely. We always salute these guys, and here are not here, and anybody else that's weekend, and that's why we do this series. It's always fun, and it's been a blast broadcasting with this, and I just can't wait for this race to start. As we got Devin Zimmerman setting the fast pace in pole right now at 24.17 seconds. Ethan Thompson shortly behind. Got Andrew Bisnett in third. Paul Vosberg fourth. Newcomer in fifth. Larry Patrick. Jeremy Gaiman in sixth. Nicholas Smith seventh, Rick Kohler eighth, Robert Cochran ninth, and Robert Pardon 10th to round out practice times as of right now.
Yeah, all looking pretty fast. And anyone who's watched since season 3 know that Devin Zimmerman is representing the esports division of the Air Force, and him and Ethan Thompson work together pretty well. They happen to share team communications, even though they're racing each other out there. But I unofficially consider them teammates.
Yeah, they seem to work well together, and they know each other well on the track. And um, Kazi last season gave him kind of run if he could have been here for most of it. Them three racing together. But Devin and Ethan, they've always raced clean with each other, and they both have different strategies when it comes to the track.
Yeah,
Comes to racing.
absolutely. Yeah, Andrew Bisnett sitting P3 now in practice. He's one of the drivers that I think he may have won one or two events throughout the 5 seasons here. But traditionally it was kind of hit or miss for him. And coming into the end of last season, the beginning of this season, we've seen some really good consistency out of Andrew. I would expect, I'm sorry, to see him at the front tonight.
Yeah, he's another fast driver. I've gotten to race around him a lot, and Biznett's a great guy. Got to know him well over our endurance series, and I've raced with most of these guys, and most of these all these guys are great guys, and they're fun to be around. Hearing their old stories of their service and all that, and even if they're still in service, it's amazing getting to know some of these guys.
Yeah, all our heroes here at home and abroad as well that come out to do this. Thank you one for your service and everything you do for the country. And I'm really hoping that you guys get to hang out here, the ones that are stateside, for a little while longer, because it's a little crazy around the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little crazy out in that world. You never know what's gonna happen, what's gonna turn up, and it's how it goes in this lovely world we live in. That's why we
We
got these
certainly,
men and women to protect us. So
yeah, we're certainly thinking about all the families on both sides of the escalations over there in Europe. So we hope everyone comes out okay as best we can through that event. We know we'll be okay though, because we got a bunch of guys out here that are going to turn some hot laps for us to enjoy over here in the land of the free.
Right. That's just always that's what makes us this country great. You know, we got these men and women protecting us here and abroad, and first responders, everybody keeping us safe whenever we need them, and you can't thank them enough. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And we're in Iowa, corn country over here. You know who else we don't thank enough? We don't thank farmers enough. All that corn, man, it's got me hungry.
Right. Yeah. I live in farm country pretty much, and it's that got definitely two different types of season. You got a green season and you got a white season up here. So it's always amazing. You never know what you're gonna get out of weather and all that.
Yeah, on track now with Nicholas Smith here in practice. Nicholas Smith, I don't remember why. There was a bet or a dare or something, but I received in the mail the other day a Carolina Reaper lollipop
Awesome.
on behalf of him. So eventually, I'm gonna have to eat that live on the air at some point.
Sounds
I
interesting. That's for
I
sure.
I conveniently forgot it tonight.
It's somewhere. I don't know where it's at.
But eventually I'll be eating that. So thanks, Nicholas, for the little gift. And oh, I don't even know what to say thanks. This thing's probably gonna kill me, but we'll see what happens.
Well, before qualifying kicks off here, should we pay some bills?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll start this off tonight with B&B Wraps.
Yeah, B&B Wraps. I was actually giving some shout outs to Jeremy today that runs the company. He's done a lot of work for us. Back Charities is actually sponsoring another race car this year. And they were looking for a place to get some decals done for their car. So right away, I was like, "Hey, go see my guy over at B&B Wraps. He's overnighted some stuff to us, does great work, ships all over the country, from coffee cups to semi trucks. If you need a wrapped, B&B Wraps can do it."
McConey's Setup Shop.
Jeff McConey, a man who needs no introduction, is the owner and operator of the first setup shop to be registered as an LLC with the government, which means they're accountable for the product they put out. And the boys here at Tyler Daniels Racing can certainly attest to that because that is the only shop we use. Andy actually ran into Jeff McConey over at Daytona. There's been some talks. So the TDR versus Pujanowski League is probably going to be taking a brief hiatus, and there's been some introduction made, and something else might be coming down the pipeline. I don't want to give too much of it away, but when Jeff McConey gets involved, it's always awesome. Their setups, your victories. McConey Setup Shop.
Back Charities.
I got to do another one. I forgot about plugging myself. Yeah, back charities. I'm one of the people that sits on the board of this charity. We sponsor this event because we love our heroes, our first responders, the guys at home and abroad that help keep us safe. And we also do so much more than that, right? We've built Tyler Daniels Racing as a non-toxic community for those that enjoy motorsports. We've done a whole bunch of fundraisers, teddy bears for children in the hospital, cards for the troops, etc., etc. If you've been around us, you know the deals. Go to bacccharities.com, make a donation, and give back with back.
That'll cover our bills for now.
Oof. I forgot about the third sponsor. I was like, man, I killed those first two, and then I was like, oh, I didn't even think about this one.
It's hard to
Oh
forget
man,
about that one.
yeah, that's a big one, man.
Yeah, they do a lot
I
for
spent
us here at TDR. It's always amazing.
yeah, I spend a lot of time talking about that one in my personal life too, right? I meet somebody and say, hey, I sit on the board of a charity. Come check out what we do. And it's always guys that, mention something about motorsports or other veterans, because I explain what we do for the veterans community. Those that don't have the community, we have something here for them to come and be safe. And that's a lot about what the charity mission is. So I always forget to plug it here because I feel like I'm not working here, but I'm always working in my personal life.
Right. That's how that works in the world nowadays.
Absolutely. As we're getting here to the end of practice, we're going to see these guys put down some quality laps. I see we're now up to 11 drivers. Looks like Bradley Hunt kind of came in a little bit late here.
Yeah, he came in a little bit late and turned a couple laps now too, and pretty much the leaderboard's pretty much the same way. Paul Vosberg did get ahead of Larry picked for the top five in practice, but they're all really close. I mean, the top 10 are within 0.41 seconds, and it makes it interesting on what can happen on this track. As we mentioned earlier, these cars don't touch this track, and maybe we'll be able to see a NASCAR race here in real life down the line.
Yeah. It could happen, right? I mean, there's a lot of people on the internet. I watched a YouTube video today about some video some guys made trying to plug Iowa as one of the Cup car tracks. We discussed with some of the drivers pre-race. Xfinity's been here a lot, right? Well, NASCAR, if you're paying attention, this is the first time the next gens have ever hit the surface here, right? These veterans are about to show NASCAR what this car looks like and what kind of show it can put on, even with a field of 11 drivers.
Right, and that's just it. I mean, these next gen cars have been fun to watch. As anybody that watched the Fontana race yesterday, I'm pretty sure it was a lot of us, and they got loose there, but they're learning as this goes, and these guys are going to do the same thing as we said last week. And it's going to be we did a full length Daytona 500 race yesterday morning, and just learning that over time is just over that race was fun and interesting to see what can happen with this car.
Yeah, and you bring a good point bringing up the Back Charities Iconic Series and these full-length races and the quality of driving and respect you get. Even though iRacing, a lot of people call it a game, but it's a simulator, right? You're out there doing it. A lot of drivers use this to practice in real life. They had one caution in the Daytona 500 Sunday morning.
Yes, we
One
did.
one caution.
Yeah, no, it's around lap 170, 172, somewhere in there, and I was lucky enough to be involved in it, and I got to go get the car fixed. But all in all, I mean, it was a fun race, and I invite anybody out there that has this to come and join that at backcharities.com. Join this fun series we're doing. I believe the next race is March 12th at Atlanta, the new Atlanta.
Yeah, that sounds correct. And to those of you out there that are into the endurance racing, this is endurance racing, believe it or not. It might not be 24 hours, but it feels like it. There is no slowing down.
No, there and when we did this last year as well, and most of them were caution free. We don't get that lovely fast repair that these guys will see one of them tonight. So everybody drives safe, but they want to get up there and get the win and get that lovely trophy that Back Charity provides, and it's all fun. And I mean, we end up doing the Indy 500 in this event or with this series. There's so many races to name. We ended up doing the Bristol Night Race. I'm pretty sure is one of them, full length races, and it's last year was a blast. We do throw some road courses in there to enjoy that as well, and I can't thank Back Charities enough for throwing that event on for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I look at it like the endurance racing, like winning or not even winning, but just finishing a 24-hour race or a 12-hour race. That's an accomplishment. If you've only done the road racing and haven't done any of this paved oval stuff, it is the intensity level of being in what we call the beehive, right? That pack of cars is so much more intense, and you have to do that for 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes.
Yeah, I actually got into my first endurance race with TDR here, this last one at Bathurst, the 12-hour Bathurst, and it's nerve-wracking. You want to protect the car for your fellow drivers so they get a chance to drive in it, and we met some really really nice people that we never usually get to race with, and it was an experience. Anybody in TDR or that wants to join TDR and get into something like that, we're making teams as we speak. And for the next race at Sebring, I believe that's at that towards the end of March. It's
Yep.
it's so much fun to. I was so nervous. We were talking earlier. When we first go live, we're always a little bit got to get the butterflies. That day, I had the butterflies all day. Even when I was out of the
Yeah.
car cheering on my fellow drivers. And we actually got up to second. We got up to first for a while. Our leader, Andy Shaner, actually had us up in the lead for a while. Biznet was the other teammate I had, got us up to fifth, and I got
Yeah.
us up to second. It's just a blast.
Yeah,
I
and one thing I've noticed about like changing the style of racing you're involved in, like you doing some road course stuff when you're mostly an oval guy, road course guys coming to the oval, it makes you respect that other discipline of racing so much more. Road course guys are always like, "Oh, you're just turning left," and oval guys are like, "You don't even go that fast." But if you put one guy in the other guy's seat, he's like, "Holy crap, this is hard, right?"
it changes your perspective on it. I was actually one of them guys. It's like, well, road racing don't seem that bad. Oval racing seems hard, but now it's like oval racing just comes as kind of second nature, and you learn a little bit as you run, and that's what makes it even That's what makes it even better. You know, you learn from other drivers their take on each side of it, and it's just been an
Absolutely.
amazing thing.
Yeah, I've found that all my years of being a driver, of watching drivers, spending time at tracks, watching things I don't even do like motocross or monster trucks, right? It's always hard when you push it to the limit. And with 10 seconds or so left here in qualifying, we're about to watch at least 11 cars push it to the limit. Probably fewer by the end of this race, because when you reach that limit, you can't go over it, and a few of these guys might.
Oh yeah, I think a few of them will push it tonight to show what this track can do. And like I said earlier, the way it sounded, the setup was hooked up. I did not get a chance to throw it on a couple practice laps before I hopped in the booth tonight. But as qualifying wrapped up, we're gonna go green here in a little bit. Devin
Yeah,
Zimmerman sets on pole. Ethan Thompson starting outside pole. You got Biznet and Gaiman top four, and Robert Pardon wraps up the top five for qualifying. And all the qualifying laps are close; they're all within a half a second or just over. And I think this is going to be a great race. Get them out in the draft in a pack, and we'll see what happens.
yeah. Stephen Hutchinson's chimed in over on the YouTube chat as we get ready to grid up here. He will be here for the random info when we need it. He had a pretty good showing race one, season five. Let's see if he can show up with the good info again.
Yeah, he usually he helped us out a lot last week, and can't thank him enough for being that guy to help us out. And, feed us some information that we obviously didn't know.
Yeah, we got race control checking in on YouTube. That's Jim Downham doing this for the veterans out there. It's a thankless job up there in race control, right? Everybody wants you to be fair, but nobody thinks it's fair when it's your yellow flag.
Right, race control, that's a whole different aspect. As I work at a local track, we you don't get to see that side of it, the race control part of it, and we've learned a lot over the last couple of years. We've helped out at our track and worked at our track, and
Oh yeah.
people don't realize at a track, like NASCAR, any series, anywhere you go, like how many people it takes to
Mhm.
make a track run. I invite everybody to go out and support your local tracks this upcoming seasons, as some are racing down south right now, and it's always fun.
Yep, and spend the extra money on the pit pass wherever you go. It's usually an extra 10, $20 to go hang out in the pits with some of the drivers there. Get the pit pass, meet the drivers. It takes a special kind of animal to hop in one of these things and do that for that amount of time, right?
Yeah, I
Really
haven't.
interesting people out there at the racetracks.
I haven't been able to actually make it to a NASCAR race or upper series race or an asphalt race, to be honest about that, and we can't wait to make it to one. But
Well, we'll get you there one day, buddy. You stay in this booth, we'll make you famous. I promise.
oh, we'll have some fun, that's for sure.
We see them all lining up now, getting ready to go green. YouTube's starting to pop off a little bit. Janelle says good luck to Chuck and hope everything goes well. And Chuck, his YouTube handle is Old Perky, so Chuck's not in the race tonight, but we're wishing him the best. And if you're curious to know the details, you can tune in over on the YouTube chat and see what's going on over there.
As we got one lap to green, what's your outlook coming into this race? You've looked up some of the stuff about the track. What's your feelings on tonight's race?
Well,
What's YouTube's feelings on tonight's race as well?
well, I watched some of an Xfinity race, and basically the track starts low and it fades high, very similar to a Darlington. It's a short track, but it wasn't in a next gen car. And again, NASCAR, Iowa Speedway, if you're out there listening, watch this race. This is what the next gen car is going to look like here. And I think it's going to be racy. If I've seen anything from Iowa and Darlington, it's a very racy track for a short track. Going to be some bumper to bumper action here and maybe a caution or two.
Yeah, these guys usually race clean. We might see a couple of caution or two as they fill out the track in a bigger pack here with 11 guys. And off we go, green flag. We're racing 100 laps tonight, buddy.
Here we go.
As Ethan and Zimmerman pull out in front of the pack, and everybody's side by side, a little bit further deep in the pack. There goes Biznet diving low for it that you were talking about earlier. He might go for it tonight, and he should be fast.
Yeah, that low side will work early on, but it will cost you tires. Tires won't be a huge deal here, especially as that track rubbers up. But as they go on, the line's going to fade higher and higher. And I salute Andrew for using that low line while it's available.
Yeah, like you said, it fades away over time, and it's it's the product of the racing we'll get, and racing 100 laps here, they're gonna learn a lot as it goes. As Andrew slides up there a little bit.
Yeah, 100 laps is a long time to sit around this track, even though it's a little less than a mile. It's about 7/8 of a mile long, 0.825, I believe was the number I saw. But it's a long time around here. It's not a really high speed track. It is considered a short track, so they're not getting a tremendous amount of speed. Lap times here, they're going to tick off pretty slowly, and you have to think about pit strategy. We're going to need a minimum of one and probably two pit stops here for tires.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the fuel run what that is either. We'll learn that as this race goes. They'll thinking tires will die out. Learning in these next gen cars, tires they fall off, but not as fast as the older car. But they are building them up yet. Jeremy Gaiman's
Right.
all over Biznet's bumper and gets a little loose, goes in the wall there.
Yeah, and I think tire wear here in the next gen cars, even though the iRacing model isn't perfect, because iRacing is also learning these cars. This is going to be a great example of what it would look like if these cars were there and how that shorter fall off falls off. Because traditionally in a stock car, tires always matter, but here they're not nearly as important as you would see at like some of the paperclip tracks or the really abrasive concrete tracks. You can go a long way in a stock car. I bet a next gen can go even a little bit longer.
Yeah, for the most part they can. And we raced at Fontana last night in this next gen car, and seemed like the right sides wore off more. But that is an abrasive track. I mean, it will eat up your
Yeah.
tires.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how this is going to play out because honestly, I think Iowa could be a contender for a Cup car track.
Oh, I
It's
I definitely
right in the
hope so
right in the
someday.
middle of the country. It seats like 40,000 people. I mean, there's tons of people that travel, 8, 9, 10 plus hours to go to a track. This track being, I think it's 30 minutes from the nearest metro. It could totally be one of the Cup car tracks. I think we're going to see some really good racing here tonight, as they only tick off lap 8. Again, these laps are going to tick off much slower than the drivers want them to.
Yeah, they'll take off slow for sure. I mean, they're the top right now. The Devin Zimmerman has a 24 and 0.75 lap, and you know you're looking at 24, 25 seconds a lap, and they'll fall off as the run goes. That's for sure. And the race will last a little bit, and
Yeah, looking back at my timing here, looks like Nicholas Smith has already fallen 2 laps back. I wonder if he had a little bit of trouble early on there.
yeah, I guess I didn't really see what happened to him there, and we'll see what
Well,
happens as he gets back out there, as he is out
well,
there on the track.
yeah, the lap counters is staying consistent as they tick them off here over at the. Oh, they've removed it. There used to be a piece of corn on the start finish line of this track.
I never knew that.
Yeah, the start finish line used to be like a corn. I don't know
Oh,
what you call them. A head of corn,
stock of corn.
a corn stalk. Yeah, they changed it. How about that? Anyway, but his lap counter is staying consistent, so he is back on track. I would imagine those 2 laps are due to an early pit stop, either for a fast repair, maybe an accidental slide into the pits. It's a pretty big pit entry here. It's easy to accidentally fall into it.
As well, we'll hop in the car with Devin here and see what this track is going around this. What kind of lap we're looking at. There's a little bit of banking there. It's a fun track to go around.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a short track when they're in those corners, and it feels like a mile and a half or when they're in the straights.
Right.
Very
That
long sweeping track, D-shaped. Like again, it's almost a replica of Darlington, and it's oh man, that looks like fun.
it is a fun track.
It does. I hear a lot of people complain about this track because of how the track fades and it's always like riding up to the wall, and you have the Iowa stripe, right, like the Darlington stripe. But really, if it's a track, if you can get some good bite in there, save some tires. I mean, this track's a ton of fun to drive.
It is. It. I think Rusty Wallace had a hand in building this track, and from
He did.
what I've heard from you earlier, and I've heard that back in the past as well. And they did a good job building it. They just I hope it picks up a little bit more again. And it's always been fun watching the races that they have had here.
Well, you said earlier in the broadcast, maybe even before we went live here, it's your home track, right?
Yep.
This is probably the closest track to you if the Cup cars were to visit.
Here are Kansas Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, man, that looks fun.
Yeah, it does. It's uh,
That little bit of red line right before you get in there, man, make that straightaway feel so good. I would say, even though it's supposed to be a replica of Darlington, it has its own characteristics.
yeah, it does. I mean, the banking's there, everything. It's a
Like,
very fun track to drive, and it's out and about and out in the boonies, and makes for fun racing. That's for sure.
there's a lot of good parties out in the boonies too. I bet. So you said you hadn't made it to a big race. So you've never been to like Daytona or anything, right?
No, the biggest probably races I've ever been at is Super Nationals down in Boone, Iowa. They race, that's our IMCA Super Nationals, but it was a pretty big event. A lot of people, a lot of good racing. Definitely going back to that this year. That's can't if you like dirt racing, it's great racing. I can't wait to go back again. And there's a lot of other big races that are out there that me and my wife would like to hit, and we might be doing that in the next year or two.
Well, I'll tell you, NASCAR, you take some notes here because this is going to be your marketing ploy for bringing Iowa to the schedule, right? You go
Uh,
to Daytona, right? You go to Atlanta. There's always a huge party in the parking lot, and the police show up, and everybody got to go home. What happens if you have a big party in the middle of a cornfield? You get to have a big party. All these country boys that come out here and watch this racing need to start parking out in these cornfields in Iowa. I guarantee the after show from one of these shows would be probably the best time on the planet.
right.
Be looking like a Sturgis bike show out there.
It'd be a great time. We've growing up in Minnesota like I have, we've actually had some of them parties.
Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier, talking about thank a farmer, man. Farmers threw the best parties I ever knew because it was always back in the woods, and you could just go have fun.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's always a good time out in those fields, and don't wreck the farmers' fields though, please, because
Right,
they
right.
do
Well,
some hard work there.
we didn't think about everything we did when we were young, now did we?
No, we did not. Learned really quick when you grew up on how valuable that the farmers are in this world too.
A little bit of contact there between Smith and that green car coming by.
Yeah, Jeremy
Happened,
Gaiman.
yeah, about half a lap ago there. Nothing serious, just a couple guys trying to figure out some corners.
As Devin still holds the lead over Ethan Thompson, 21 laps in.
Yeah, Ethan
22.
not too far behind, a little less than a second.
Yeah, a couple laps ago he was a little closer, and he might have been trying the low side and stuff, just trying some stuff out for later in the race. Because you learn, most of us drivers, that's what you do. You got to try stuff. You can't just drive the same line if someone is a little bit faster than you at that time. And it's
Yeah, and I would say for the ability to capture speed, everyone on that track's at a disadvantage because they're all learning the next gen car at the track it's never been at. It's one thing to go out there and like not have practiced or like learn some laps, but like it's a whole new car on a track it's never been at. There's a lot to learn out there.
uh, tons of information to get as you get out in the track and run some, like we said with the NASCAR guys this past week at Fontana, California. Um, they were slipping and sliding all over the place as they haven't raced at that venue for a couple years now, and they finally got back and they had to get some rubber laid down on that track, and it's it. But the cars are completely different. They're as this season goes on, as I listen to Sirius XM a lot, and they're learning so much about this car and what it can do. They had an extra
Hmm.
year to build it, design it, get everything going with it, and they'll still be making adjustments in probably 2, 3 years down the line, as they always do.
Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson have clearly figured it out. They're both putting down some hot laps. Got a couple seconds between them back to Andrew Bisnett in third. And looks like Ethan might be challenging Devin here for the lead.
Yeah, Ethan's running that low line. Devin's kind of staying on that high line, and you know we were saying how sometimes you got to start that low line and work your way up. Ethan's kind of got that middle groove going and kind of diming off the corner, low line going, and he's closed the gap a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, I see him searching around a little bit. He'll kind of do the low line here, the middle line there, and I've always been a fan of going where the track's darker.
Right. That's where the
You know,
rubber is.
if it's good and dark, you know it's got some rubber in it, and that's kind of where I hang out, unless I'm trying to be brave. Ethan seems to be kind of wobbling behind Devin. Devin, we know Devin's a saver. He's very consistent, saves a lot of stuff for the end. And I think Ethan's going to end up kind of burning his stuff off a little bit ahead of Devin, but you never know, man. Ethan's he's a crafty driver, and sometimes he can save by going faster. I don't know how he does it, but if he could bottle that and sell it, he'd make a fortune.
Well, definitely. There would be a lot of people that want to get those tips on how you go faster and save tires all at the same time. That's for sure.
That would have been a great segue into a Maconi commercial.
That would have been a perfect one.
Yep. Jeff, if you want to start paying for commercials too, you can reach me at tommy@backcharities.com.
We'll get some commercials out there.
We'll throw in the segues for free, buddy.
Yeah, segues are free. Teasers are awesome.
Oh man.
Go
He's
for the
still
field.
right. Still right there.
Yeah, he's still right there. I don't want to go off him, but I want to check out some of the other guys we have in the field as we're on Larry Patrick now, our newcomer. Seems like he's running good. He's sitting fifth right now. Just probably learning the track as well is what we've been saying.
Yeah, we looked at him maybe 2 or 3 times in practice, and he looked a little squirrely, but it seems like he's got it figured out. So, welcome to the field, Larry. Congratulations. Good luck on your P5.
Well, welcome to the series, bud.
Yeah, this race feels so long to the drivers, and I'm in the driver mindset that I'm already ready to congratulate people for stuff.
Right. We got Paul Vosberg, Blackjack 21. We had him in Vegas talking with him. Got a couple other guys, Robert Cochran and.
Yeah, if we do get a yellow during this race, I want to talk to Nicholas Smith, man. He put in a lot of speed in that season opener. I think he came in with a top 6 or a top 7, and we didn't see a ton of him out of season 4. Did really good that first race of season 5, and I know he feels disappointed, but I'm really curious what happened to him early on to put him back there.
Yeah, we'll have to check in with them on that. You never know what can happen on these tracks. The cameras only cover us so far.
I know it.
There's Bradley Hunt.
Yeah, and I believe he was originally a Nowski Nation driver that came over to race with us here at the Tyler Daniels Racing Vets League.
Right. Let's see here. Who else do we got? There's Robin Pardon, racing the U.S. Army car.
Yeah, I love the paint schemes these guys bring out too.
Yeah, they, salute show where they've been and who they are, and it's always fun talking with them too. Like I said earlier, I mean, learning what they've had to deal with and do and live their lives, protecting us all the time.
That is the truth.
As I think we got a visitor in the booth, don't we?
Do we have a visitor?
I think Jay Downham has joined us in the booth. Jay, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. But you got here, you got through the rush hour that you had to deal with, but you're here.
Yeah. I had a bunch of traffic that I had to get to, so I'm a little bit late to the party. Looks like we're about 36 out of 100 in, and I missed the first race, so this is my first one, but it's good to be up here with you guys again, and out here seeing the vets and first responders for season 5, and looks like Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson kind of left off where they from last season. For looks like here.
Golly, Jay was excited to get up here. He came in here with some energy that I just can't muster. How you doing, Jay?
Tommy, man, it is great to see you again for season 5. I mean, we're back at it again. I'm so excited for this season. I'm so mad that I missed last week, but glad to be out here in Iowa. So it looks like these boys are mixing it up, getting getting their laps in. It's the 100 laps tonight, so it's very exciting.
Yeah, me and Dustin did an okay job last week, but I missed you in the booth, man. It's great to have a full booth. All 3 chairs are filled.
It's
Yes,
always
sir.
always fun to have that.
Everyone out there on YouTube land is like, oh, they only have 3 chairs.
Well, there's
Sometimes
always room
maybe a
for more,
fourth.
but there's only
Sometimes.
3.
Well, you haven't missed much. Me and Dustin were talking about how the laps kind of tick off slowly here. It's a slower speed track. It's technically a short track by NASCAR's definition. And 40 laps in, Devin and Ethan, as usual, are class of the field here. And we're looking at pit strategies. What do you know about Iowa, Jay? Have you watched many races here?
Actually, I have driven a few races here at Iowa. I haven't driven one in the new or in this car here, but I did do it in the Indy car. I've done it in a street
Yeah.
stock. I've done it in a let's see. I think I even took the modified around here, the SK modified around here. So this is a fast track. It doesn't look as fast, but if you get it just right, you get your setup just right. It's a pretty quick track, and if it is a groove track for sure. So one of those dancing type, if you're into dancing, this is definitely one where you're gonna want that rhythm. So we're gonna see who's got the rhythm and who can pull it out tonight. So, but it looks like Devin Zimmerman and Ethan Thompson, man, they're just battling right there. Neither one letting each other go. So
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
about
think
where they've been the whole race. Is about where they're at, and it's been fun to watch.
yeah, biggest gap has been about a second between them.
Yep.
41 laps. I'm sure nobody's taking a pit stop yet. I'm not sure if 100 laps they may be able to pull. Yes, they'll probably want to come in and get tires. I'm sure because it is an abrasive surface. It's an older one, but so at least one pit stop. But we'll see how long they can pull it off for, or split it, or go a little bit longer on it.
Yeah, it looks like
But
we've
man,
had
that's
maybe a couple pit stop takers. Bradley Hunt is a lap down. Nicholas Smith went down 2 laps early, and then now Rick Kohler is actually down 3. He must have got one of them Iowa stripes that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's like Darlington but with corn.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's right there. You can just see it. I mean, if you get a car that's pushing a little bit or even a little bit loose, it's going to tag that wall coming off it too, for sure. But like I said, and I'm sure you guys mentioned it's got that D shape to it down that front
Oh
stretch, kind
yeah.
of a miniature Michigan. So it provides a long. You're going to get a lot of speed going into turn number 1 there. So it's kind of a there we see somebody.
That's our new guy, Larry Patrick.
Yeah, Larry Patrick, as we were just talking about there, he gets it a little bit tight and tags that outside wall. So Larry, well, it's good to see a couple new faces out here. Larry Patrick is out here. He's the only about newer guy that we've seen over the past couple of seasons. So
We do have some people hitting pit road a little early here at lap 45. Robert Cochran and Robert Pardon are on pit road right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking fuel. You could probably get close. Oh, we see a little bit of wall contact there on pit exit. I think.
he was coming out of his no, he was coming out of his pit, I think. So it maybe looked like it, but he was coming out of his pit stall there. And that was the number 90 car of Robert Cochran. So
Yes, it was. Devon's opened up that lead a little bit more, and we'll see when these guys come in. I'm betting they're gonna split it halfway and
Yeah,
go.
before. Okay, I see now. Yeah, before I saw that smoke and him leaving the pits there, I was like, okay.
See what
But
happens.
I was gonna say on fuel strategy, 100 laps might be doable. But to Jay's point, tires are they're gonna be a want here for a long time, and then a need for a very short window.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
gonna be a
absolutely.
necessity for sure.
I think we gotta like Dustin said, they're gonna try to split the race. I think anybody coming in now is a little early. Anybody coming in late's a little late, and it's hard to say how tires are gonna play out at a track like this. It really comes down to your pit entry and exit times.
Yeah, and it's one of those tracks like you carry a lot of momentum going into turn 2 because you're going to have that
Mm-hmm.
long sweeping in the front. And it's kind of like Michigan where you're coming off of that and you already have the momentum, but you want to take it as far as you can, and you can really mess that up coming in because you can spin out easily, lock the tires up, turn that thing around in a hurry, especially coming off of turn 2 on that front stretch. As we see Ethan Thompson here, looking like he's gonna.
Yeah, Ethan's hitting the pits.
So Ethan's gonna take his pit and he gets a woed up. So that's going to leave Zimmerman out there. Ethan may gain a second per lap every time that he stays out there over Zimmerman. So I don't think. Yeah, here come.
Yeah,
I think
Ethan.
Zimmerman's coming in the pit too. So yep.
Yeah,
Ooh, that's kind of closer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a chicken and egg situation. Either Ethan or Devin was coming in, and the other one was coming in after.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's one of those deals where you just have to go with that other person, or you're going to lose so much time, especially
Hmm.
late in the run.
Yep,
So
it becomes a situation of, oh, you need tires? Guess I do too.
absolutely, and that's going to hand the lead over to Andrew Bisnet, and I'm not sure if he's pitted yet.
I
I'd say.
believe that's his car coming down now with the star on it. No, that's Devin Zimmerman coming
Yeah,
down pit lane now. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the tape delay.
yeah. Andrew Bisnet will take over the lead as Jeremy Gaiman and Larry Patrick both hit pit road too. I believe as of right now, Andrew Bisnet would be the only one that has not pitted,
Yeah, and it looks like he's going to put. Well,
and
Vosberg
maybe
is
Paul
another one who
Vosberg.
likes to
Yep.
stay out. Okay, so here comes Andrew Bisnet
Yeah.
right
Here
now.
comes Bisnet
Yeah.
as well.
Well, during the last few races, though, Dustin, we've noticed that Paul likes to stay out as long as possible, also.
Yeah,
Because remember,
we actually talked to him. I think it was at the last race, Jay, and he likes to roll the dice, and he rolled the dice a little bit in Vegas last week with that race as well, and he likes to stay out as long as he can, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Me and Tommy touched on that a little bit. That you can gamble that, hope for that caution sometimes, or sometimes it can come back and get you. But if you hold out and you get those tires, those guys will make up the time on you now. But at the end, that you can make them up later too. As Paul's coming down the pits right now too, as well.
right, so he's actually, looks like he's the only one that's going to actually try and split the race. Um, you will be able to go fuel for sure. I
Yep,
mean,
we're
50
good.
laps is no
We're
big.
good on fuel now. It's all about the rubber.
Now it's all about tires and managing the rest of your race and trying keeping off that wall. Is because if you're going to push it hard, your those tires are definitely going to be wearing off.
Yep.
At about 25, 30 laps, you're going to start seeing that wall getting closer and closer coming off of two.
Now, a lot of these guys, and I want to say, as we cycle through the field here, I think just about everyone has pit before the halfway point of the race. So we call that a short pit on tires. Do we see a caution because of how the tire wear is, especially as you and I, Dustin, talked about that bump in turn one? As that track gets higher and they start running that middle lane and hitting that bump on worn tires, is that bringing out the yellow that changes up the field completely at the end of the race?
He very well could have if these guys get close, fighting over the same line, or trying to get by someone, dive low, or if you got to go a little bit higher than them. Only time will tell on that. These guys usually run a clean race. I mean, me and Jay have seen a lot of clean racing between this group of guys over the towards the end of last season. And Tommy, we saw a pretty clean race last week as well. And you just never know what's gonna happen. I mean, these next gen cars are usually hooked up pretty decent. Except, the guy said last week Iowa or for Las Vegas it was loose in the beginning. But I mean, I think as they cycle through this now, we'll see what happens. I mean, getting around some of these lap cars could be a problem in the end. But Devin staying out that extra time. If I don't know if Ethan had some problems getting off, but it looks like he's got about an 8-second lead on Ethan now. We'll see what happens as it keeps cycling through.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of time to make up.
Yeah, something had to have happened because Ethan came in first. He came in a whole lap beforehand, so Ethan should have actually been ahead of Devin by a second or two. Um,
Well,
just on that time.
there's not enough of a deficit to say there was a penalty served that we didn't catch. And I go back to my original point as they came to that pit cycle is that entry and exit times matter. If someone, got a little sideways on pit entry, dropped the speed way down and had to come back up and build that momentum that you alluded to, Jay, or did they mess up on exit? Did they get a little squirrely, coming back up on that apron and lose some of that precious exit time to help build that momentum to continue on? I think Ethan may have had a faux pas on entry or exit, and that gave Devin Zimmerman the lead and a commanding lead at that.
Yeah, but it is shrinking. He is down to 6. He brought it from, he was at 8. Now, last check on the ticker there, it was down to 6. So,
Maybe that's a strategy all along.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say at this point, but I think something had to have happened to Ethan where he might have gotten, like you said, just something happened. Either was going a little bit too careful coming off of pit road or going on a pit road, and Zimmerman kind of hit it a little bit, you know, more on target. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what sorted out this situation here, and I think Ethan will get there because we all know Devin Zimmerman he's a saver, he's a conserver, he will run fast laps, but he'll save his stuff. Ethan runs a little more aggressive. I have yet to see him burn his stuff up, but he's not the conservative type, so I think he'll be able to run Devin down. Can he complete the pass? I don't know, but I think Ethan will get there.
yeah, it's going to be like you said, time will tell type of deal. And with only 11 cars out there, you're not dealing with a whole bunch of traffic, so traffic shouldn't be an issue with Devin getting around or these guys holding anybody up, running side by side or things like that. So it's going to be a hard or tall order there for Ethan to catch back up to Devin at this point, especially with a 7-second lead. And we'd all like to know that he holds on to his equipment. So with 39 to go, it's going to be a tall order unless something should happen where Devin just completely just backs off and lets him come to him, or Ethan really catches a good run in the middle stretch here and makes up that time, or like you said, the inevitable somebody may a couple of cars may get together with
Let's see, Jeremy Gaming here putting some pressure on Andrew Bisnet.
Yeah, this is a battle for third and fourth. I mean, Gaiman's been trying to
It's
catch
the
him.
one to watch.
It's the one to watch. They're battling on the track. I was watching the ticker. It's like, well, these guys are close, and you know, kind of got two different lines. Jeremy's kind of searching to see what it takes to get around him, and I don't know, Jay. You have a little experience with this track, probably not in the next gen, but is this a hard track to pass at?
no, there's a lot of lanes here. I mean, you can run low, middle, or tall. So I mean, it's kind of like Homestead. When you go to Homestead, when you have those three lines at work, or Atlanta
Whoa,
where three lines
oh,
work, or sometimes
Bisnet got a little
even
squirrely there.
so. Yeah, there is three running lines here that you can actually run, um, and you'll see that Jeremy has been getting a lot better over the past few seasons, and he's showing that tonight.
But
Ended up being
Jay, you say that, but I've been broadcasting back when Jeremy Gaiman was a season champion.
Yes, and he was a season champion, and since then, he himself is a very modest guy, and he will tell you that he just not, he's not that great. But being a season champion, and he drove last year, I think, up in the third spot, in the championship points, with Causey, who pretty much dominated the field. Him and Zimmerman basically just dominated the field last season, and now to come back and be running third and getting around Biznet, who we know is can be quick as well.
Oh,
So I
I,
mean,
I know Jeremy from watching him. I think it was season 2 or season 3. He won. The gentleman has a lot of speed. It's all about focus and how much he has on his plate to manage as a driver. And he's done a much better job of focusing on the event, practicing for it, getting in there and getting it done. If he can do that, that's when he shows his speed. Jeremy Gaiman has a tremendous amount of speed in there. He's just not always focused enough to untap it.
gotcha.
Well,
Yeah, and we all race around Jeremy. So I mean, and all these guys out here. I mean, they're great, wonderful guys. Everybody shows so much tremendous respect for each other that
Yep.
even pressing issues is not. I mean, if you come out to watch a hard banging, wall chasing, smacking each other around kind of race, this isn't the series that you're going to see it in.
Yep.
That's more like the
Well,
officials that you're going to see that in. Out here, everybody is very respectful. They only get into each other if it's a racing incident and stuff happens. So it's one of those deals.
yeah, and that's another good point to like some of the guys out here that are really fast that don't pull it off, right? Like you got Dustin, you got Ethan. The caliber of competition out here it's fierce. It's really hard to beat some of these guys. I would say everyone on that track is pretty focused and mostly on their A game any given day.
Yeah, I mean, you put any of these guys up against anybody on any given track, any given day, they're going to be tough to beat. I mean, and just because of the caliber of it, they make it look so easy. But when you're out there
Right.
racing against them, it's like, where do they even get this stuff from? It's like, wow, I mean, you're pulling your hardest because I've raced with Jeremy and I've seen him just literally just pull away, and it's like, wow. Ethan Thompson, we've raced against him in a couple races, and yeah, I mean, these guys really just know how to get it done. They know their lines, they know their braking points, they handle these cars tremendously well. So, great respect to everybody that's going out there and putting on these shows and just make it look so easy for
Yep.
us guys who are in the booth, and that's why we're in the booth and not on the track.
I could easily say if I was on this track right now, I'd be in 11th.
Or
Yeah,
upside down.
11.
Oh no, wait, I'd be in 12th because you'd have to add my car number. Yeah. No, it's incredible. I don't even think I always talk about the yellow flags in these events, and it's very rarely we see one. It's not even like traditional stock car racing where like you expect a mistake or a couple guys to race too hard, and the amount of respect they have for each other when they get side by side is unfathomable.
Oh, absolutely.
I go back to the iconic the Daytona 500 race Tyler Daniels Racing had Sunday morning, the Daytona 500 full length event, no fast repairs, one caution.
Yes, it was, and that's and that just shows the caliber of racing that's in TDR, and how much everybody respects everybody and one another, and nobody wants to push that position. And now, given a chance that things were a little bit tighter, and we had maybe a competition caution or two, things might have been a little bit different. But no, you get these guys straight out, and everybody just it's hard racing. Everybody takes what they can get and gets around it, but yeah, I mean, like you said, 500, 200 laps, 500 miles, one caution. I mean, how can you not argue and say that these are some of the cleanest guys you're going to race with on iRacing?
Yep. And then you add the element of it, the respect that these guys have for each other because they share that brotherhood of being a first responder or a veteran. Our heroes at home and abroad. These races are some of the best races to watch. The amount of respect out there is just it's incredible.
You know who we are missing though? I'm missing. I don't see Chuck's name out there. Chuck McDonald, our Canadian Beaver. He ain't out there tonight. So where's our Canadian guy? He missed tonight. That's
he's
No,
been chiming into the chat a little bit. He had something come up that he couldn't make it tonight, so he's been chiming in the chat a little bit, and
yeah, we're certainly wishing him the best though.
yep, certainly wish him the best.
absolutely. And see, we got Bradley Hunt out there. He's been up here a couple times in the booth with us over the past few.
Yeah, I'm just kind of going through the field, looking at kind of the damage some of these cars have, from maybe a little bit of Iowa stripes and all that. That's kind of what I'm doing here. The cleanest car I think I've seen is, uh, the, well, it was clean. The good old Jenks. His car was pretty clean when I was going through. Just kind of looking at some of these guys' paint jobs, and me and Tommy were talking about it earlier, where these guys put a lot of work in their paints and salute what most of them do, and as we got Devin
Yep.
Zimmerman there, our leader, as he opened up that lead pretty good now, about 9.5, 10 seconds, and
See, Iowa, so that they want to compete with Darlington, right? They want to be on the Cup schedule. They should paint the wall yellow and call it the corn stripe.
the corn stripe. I like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Come get your corn stripe.
Right? Or the butter stripe. There you go. Come get your
No,
butter stripe.
it's got to be corn. The butter's more like Amish country. We're trying to appeal to corn
Okay.
country over here. Yeah.
The corn country, corn and wheat. In
And
Iowa,
actually-
wheat too.
And actually, real butter is like white. If your butter is yellow, you have been fooled.
Okay, that's a margarine. Okay, so the margarine stripe.
Aren't you up there in the Northeast, Jay?
No, I'm down in the south. I'm southwest.
Oh no, that's right. Your dad is in the Northeast.
My brother is in the northeast.
Brother.
Jim,
How,
Race
how
control.
many years apart are you in race control?
10.
Okay, well that explains my misconception. A little. Well, anyway, I thought you were up there in Amish country with your brother.
No, we were raised in Jersey, but no, I moved out of there after the 80 or it was 90s, I think, early 90s.
Oh,
When
that's
a
right.
big freeze came through there and it froze me out, so I came down to Florida to warm up, and I'm still thawing out after that freeze. So
That's right. You're down in my country.
Yep.
I love
So,
Canada for the same reason. People always ask me when I tell them I'm from up north. They're like, "Do you miss the snow?" I'm like, "No, I've never had to shovel rain a day in my life."
that's very true.
Oh man.
Yo,
Yeah, Ethan Thompson here.
we were talking
10.
about making that wall yellow. We had Chuck actually chime in the chat, calling it the Colonel Kiss.
The
There you go.
Colonel Kiss. Now we're
That's a
talking,
good one.
Chuck.
That's right.
That's way better than the other thing you say.
Oh, you didn't like the butter stripe? Come on now. I guess that'd be
Yeah.
more Wisconsin, though, wouldn't it?
No, that's
Butter,
marketable. The Colonel Kiss. The Colonel
The
Kiss.
Colonel Kiss.
Colonel
Yeah,
Kiss. All
Wisconsin
right.
would be the dairy part of it.
Right. It's got Devin Zimmerman. He's changed his car this year. He's got a black car with that. That's a nice looking car this year. He's got with the
Yeah.
U.S. Air Force on it.
Yeah, I saw him roll it out last week when I was up in there in the booth. I'm sorry we missed you last week, Jay. But he always runs that really cool paint scheme with the honeycomb on the front for the esports division of the Navy. I think that was the best paint scheme we've seen so far in this week.
Well, we had him for interviews afterwards, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't he bring up that he entered it for somebody's real life car? He didn't win, but he was kind of disappointed in that. But that's why he decided to keep racing it, just because he's very proud of that paint. And I can't remember who he said that the entry was for, the driver, but it would have been a cool paint to see on a real track, that's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I've seen a lot of good paints out here, and it's not to say anything bad about any one of the other ones, but I thought that paint scheme that Devin brought on those vehicles was one of the sharpest looking military themed paint schemes I've ever seen.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, is that not damage on the front of Devin Zimmerman's car? I think he might have tapped the wall, guys.
I don't know if
Yeah,
you heard, but this is a short track.
It is a short track, but to see damage on Devin's car, that's highly unusual.
yeah, I was going through the field earlier. I think just about every car has some type of damage. I mean, Thompson's car here looks pretty clean. I want to say it was the guy in third place, Jeremy Gaiman, had some pretty good damage there as well. And looks like there's been a
Everybody's
couple of them Colonel Kisses, as Chuck
Colonel
has
Kiss.
alluded
the
to.
Colonel Kisses, yeah.
Well, even if Iowa doesn't make it to NASCAR, and Larry Mack does not say the Colonel Kiss in the back sports booth, if we're racing at Iowa, it's the Colonel Kiss.
That's right. The Colonel Kisses. Because that looks like he's got a little bit of damage too on his front of his car.
Yeah, the top four seem like they have some. I think Ethan was the only one that really didn't look like. He looked like he might have used that fast repair when he came into pit.
It's possible. You might need it here.
And I mean, Bradley Hunt's got that little bit of damage as well. And
The Colonel Kiss has widowed many a poor farmer's wife.
I'm telling you. But I don't see any fall off though. I mean, we
No.
were up to 10, so I mean, he's still maintaining that gap. So, like I said, it's short track. It's kind of like a Bristol. I mean, you can pretty much tear the fenders off of these things. They're still going to be pretty quick. I mean, not as quick, but you're not going to lose too much time.
You drive it like a bigger track, like a mile and a half, but in reality, the speeds aren't as high as you get there. It's a short track, all said and done.
Yeah, no, it is a short track.
But
It's
to,
like,
your original point, it is unusual to see Devin with a little bit of wrinkle in the nose.
Well, that's a little bit of wrinkle on the side as well, as I got the rear suspension there. He's got a little wrinkle everywhere, it looks like.
yeah, he put a little bit of he got that stripe, that's for sure. So he's earned the Iowa Colonel Kiss.
Left side of the car don't look bad. The left side of the car don't look too bad.
I say, just show this side. We don't need to see the other side.
You know what they say in short track racing, right?
What's that?
If the left side of your car is damaged, you're fast. If the right side is damaged, you're slow.
Why do you think they put most cameras on the inside of the racetrack for the most part?
Right.
Yeah, we'll see if Devin's gonna be fast or slow at the end of this. We got under 10 laps to go, and still a good bit of a gap back to second place. But Ethan Thompson has been making up time slowly and steadily.
Yeah, I've been
it's
seeing
down
that
to
on the chart.
second. It's down to 6 seconds now. I don't know. Maybe Devin got another one of those Colonel Kisses, or who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, 7 laps to go will be a tall order to catch him, but Ethan's trying his hardest to get there, and Diving
And
it
right now,
low.
I
He's
mean, he's
diving it
got to be
deep.
taking it easy. He's got to be taking it easy, though. I mean, Zimmerman's with him already being against the wall. Um, and Ethan doesn't have any damage, but he still
Ethan's
can take it easy until that last lap. With 7 to go, I mean, with 5 seconds, even if he goes up a half a second to 3/4 of a second a lap, he's still not going to be able to catch him.
Devin's
Ooh,
entering turn 1 right now, and Ethan's entering it right now as well.
real quick, guys, over in the YouTube chat, and I don't know if Chuck meant this intentionally, but it's a great military pun. You always take care of your brother, but then it's the Colonel kiss.
Yep.
Colonel, right? The kiss of death.
Right.
We'll
Dev-
see. Ethan's doing his best to round off the seconds. I don't think with 5 to go, he's gonna have it unless Devin has an issue.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, we're starting to see. We saw somewhere it reared its ugly head and bit him. So could it do it again? Because he
Yeah.
has been running. He was running that high line for a while. So I don't know if he's taking that high line just as a precaution, or if that's because where the car is most comfortable. But you can see him. That's where his line right there is, that upper line.
Yeah, we'll see a couple of lap cars here that might come into play here with 5 to go. 4 to go.
yeah,
After the
4 to
line.
go.
Yeah, we got
Devin
40.
getting real high there again.
He's getting really close to that wall. Coming down to the 3 to go here.
Well, it's like anything. You're going to carry that higher line, and for more, you get more speed, more momentum. You don't have to let off. And because we saw that when Jeremy was trying to get underneath Andy, he would take that low line, but had to back off because Andy had that kick going out. It's kind of like any track that you go to. That higher line carries that momentum along the top. So
It's a directly relational, proportional, mathematical calculation because the higher you go, the thinner that line gets.
I just hope the suction from that wall doesn't suck you up into it.
Right. Got the Homestead magnets. We put Homestead magnets in this track. Get you close to that wall. Right there.
That's right. He's not running too high. I mean, he is running that middle to
Yeah,
higher. I
he
mean, did
kind
come down a
of
little bit.
dropped down to that little low line, and
I think that last
1
lap
lap to go.
scared him.
Yep. So we're on the last lap, and it looks like Devin Zimmerman's going to bring this home easily with the over Ethan Thompson, 5 seconds behind. And
Yeah, barring any issues, and assuming we
battle.
cross the checker here, they have gone green to checker.
Right, and then you got third and fourth who are really battling out there. They're close, and so Jeremy and Gaiman and Andrew Bisnet are battling out for third and fourth. That's a pretty close battle as Devin Zimmerman brings it across in first place. So congratulations to Devin
Let's
for
go back
his win
15
tonight.
seconds to where Jeremy and Andy are battling out there.
And this is the battle for third and fourth. That's a really close battle. It's like Jeremy's going to take the low side. Nope, he blocks
it's
him
working
off. And
Third and fourth was the one to watch, boys.
as it was.
so, yeah, Jeremy
Jeremy edges him out. Well-deserved podium from Jeremy.
right. And Paul Vosberg brings it home fifth. So that's a good run for Paul.
Yeah, I was low-key jealous. I missed a lot of the booth in the season 4, and you guys got to learn Paul Vosberg. When I interviewed him last week, I thought he was a new driver.
Paul's been with us for a little bit now, and yeah, he's a great guy. See him out there. So Devin Zimmerman brings it home. I'm not sure who won last week, guys. I'm sorry. I should have studied before I joined in, but
I know who it was, but I want to know if Dustin knows who.
Pretty sure it was Devin last week as well.
I think you're right.
It was battle between them two, between Devin and Ethan again, but I believe it was Devin last week as well.
Well, here's what I want to do. I'm going to bring second place in the booth,
okay.
and I'm going to start the interview by second place again. How does that feel? And then he'll let us know whether or not we're right or wrong on who won last weekend.
I don't remember. Last week was a long time ago.
Man, there was a whole 7 days between this race and the last race. Ethan, this is Tommy up in the booth, man. Second place 2 weeks in a row.
What do you mean 2 weeks in a row?
Did you win last week?
I won last week,
Yes,
man.
he
Come
did.
on.
Did you? I was just playing with you. We knew you won. But no, you won last week. You came in second this week to the guy that ran, runner up to you last week. So it's got to be a little bittersweet. You got the podium, but you edged the guy out. You two have been class of the field the past few races we've watched you. What would you have done differently out there if you could have done something different?
Not screw up when I go to pit.
I
Yeah,
had a
what
feeling
happened there?
that's what happened
I,
there.
I, s- I slid going into the box.
Mm.
Yep, and that's all it took. I was like, man, we had such a good thing going. We were nose to tail that whole first run,
Yeah,
and we were pretty much dead even. There were times where he was a little bit quicker, and then there were times where I was a little bit quicker, and I definitely feel like he wasn't getting away from me, So, I definitely could have had a shot if I hadn't screwed that up, but good job for him, of course. And congrats, of course.
well, sometimes you screw stuff up, man. It happens to me
Yep,
all the time.
sure does.
Well, you kept that nose clean for that second part of the run. You were about the only one that kept that nose clean, so you kept it off the wall. Looks like you were gaining on them, but probably too little, too late, huh? After that point.
Yeah, I guess I did somehow. I guess I did a better job at saving in that second run. I don't know what I did because he pitted a lap later than I did,
Yep.
and he told me he was .3 at the line, and I sputtered when I hit the line, so I did something right there, but of course, still wasn't enough.
Right. Well, congratulations on second. I mean, it's going to be another close points battle. So it's a good start to the season after coming in. I mean, you guys battled it out. I mean, just barely niched it out last year. So, I mean, that battle is continuing. So, congratulations on that and bringing it home second and putting on one heck of a race out there. I mean, it looked tough out at one point. That backstretch kind of grab you at any minute from what we were seeing.
Yeah,
Oh
So,
man, congratulations on the podium. It wasn't first place, but it's good enough. And I'm not good at math, but I think one guy finished first last week, one guy finished first this week, and they traded second week over week. That's a tie, right?
that's a tie.
well,
But
I think the only difference is going to be the point for leading a lap. He led a lap last week, and I didn't get one tonight. So
Oh man, 1 point between them. Tune in
yeah,
next week.
yeah.
Tune in
So
next week.
so he might have a point on me. We'll see what it adds up to be.
Oh man, and end of last season and so far, you guys are class of field putting on a great show up here for everyone to watch out there in YouTube land. So thank you for what you put out there on the track. Thank you for your service. Good Lord, I hope we don't go to war.
yeah,
I'm with you
So,
there.
but we love you, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Love you guys too.
Have a good
Absolutely.
one, bud.
You too.
see you next week.
We'll see you.
And you see Devin Zimmerman. He's already in the in-car waiting. He wants to be interviewed.
He wants
Okay.
to be interviewed.
All
So
right, let's.
no. I went and put Ethan right there in car waiting with him, so they can chat with each other.
For a few seconds, okay, and then they can get it all. All right.
Let's
Well,
pull let's pull let's pull Nicholas Smith in. Hey, he had that early caution. He finished almost last.
okay.
Hey Nick, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
Sure do, Andy.
Well, not Andy, but close enough. We're kind of the same thing. You had trouble early on, so it wasn't your race to have tonight. You were two laps down early on. Did you have some early on trouble that brought you to pit road that caused you to go down that far?
So early on, I did get into a car on accident, and I had damage that was going to black flag me, so I did have to come in and get my fast repair early, yes.
I figured that was the case. Congratulations, though, the newcomer. He wound up being out of the race, couldn't repair it, so you did get at least 1 point position back from him. We saw a good performance from you in the first race. What happened this race? Was it just the new car on a track they don't run at that kind of tripped you up, or what was the deal there?
I have never been personally a good flat track racer myself, so this was a new experience in the next gen for me. I enjoyed racing with the people. I just couldn't get the braking zones down correct.
I noticed a lot of rubber up there on the high side of the track. As I know you weren't in contention, but as you got in the car and you ran a bunch of clean laps afterwards, did you feel that effect where it wears from the inside to kind of go into a higher line?
Of course, I started moving more high towards the end there and was able to get more speed in my car. So yeah, I did start noticing I saw the leaders starting to run there. So I tried my best to try to run there when I saw them move up.
And I gotta let you go. We gotta get some more interviews in. So, but we decided that Iowa should paint the wall yellow, and instead of the Darlington stripe, we should call it the Colonel Kiss.
Right?
Right? Well, Nick, good checking in with you, man. I wish you had a better performance. Luckily, there weren't that many cars in the field, so you still pulled a top 10 points wise. And we look forward to seeing you out there next week putting on a show.
Thank you, Tommy. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your guys in the booth.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for everything you do.
Have a good night, bud.
You too.
You see, everyone always tells me not to pull in the guys in the back. And sometimes they're not mad. Everyone's always afraid of people cussing on air and being upset. They're not mad back there. You guys are crazy. I guess we should talk to the race winner, huh?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
probably
let him-
he's
yeah.
patiently waiting there for us.
I know. But when I saw him jump in, I was like, no, sir, you wait your turn. We run this booth, not the drivers. I'm gonna go ahead and get Devin. I'm gonna get Zimmerman dialed up here real quick. Hey,
Okay.
Devin, Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, fellas?
Hey, man. I know everybody up here has some questions for you. So,
Oh yeah.
P2 last week, P1 this week. Ethan already let us know you have a bonus point for a lap. So, you're the points leader. How does it feel?
Feels good. I would be lying if I didn't say it didn't feel good, but yeah, title defense season. Just got the trophy from last season yesterday, so I'm
Congrats.
excited to have that here sitting right beside me.
It's a lot better when you can hold it, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. I found a place to put it now. I gotta make a shelf beside me here so it'll sit right beside me. But yeah, this was a fun little track. Ethan and I had a good battle the first half. He was keeping me honest. I was in complete full fuel save mode pretty much. So anytime I would pull a little bit away from Ethan, I would save fuel, and then he'd get right back to me. It's like crap. I have to I have to really use more fuel than I want to again, and then barely made it to the pit box. I sputtered
Your
getting
your
in.
your driving style reminds me of like a dad with the air conditioner. like I don't want to use that much fuel right now.
We'll just turn that off, and we'll turn that off.
You don't need that.
You don't need that. Roll down the window.
But no, it paid off. Both my co-hosts here alluded to you had a little bit of damage on the side of your car. You got the and I got okay. So you know the Darlington stripe, right?
Oh yeah,
So at Iowa we're calling it the Colonel Kiss.
I'll take it with the corn kernels. I like it.
That's correct.
So
And
it
that comes.
looks like you wound up with one.
Yeah, I had just a bobble off of turn two, pretty close to pit stops, and there was about 30 seconds worth of damage, but the car felt fine. Actually, it felt pretty good. It tightened up on the short run. So long run, it kind of hurt me. I was a little bit tighter than I wanted to be, but when I came back out after the pit stop, I was like, man, this car feels good right now. So
Sometimes you got to kick it back into shape.
oh yeah. So I was like, I'll just leave it. So we left it, and then the car was fine. Unfortunately, Ethan had a mistake on pit road, but so we were able to really save and just kind of run a very uneventful race the second half, but
Well,
mainly just fuel save mode the rest of the way.
my follow up question was going to be whether or not you knew how that pit cycle went through, but you answered that, so I'll leave it to the other guys to ask you some questions.
Yeah, I knew it. He called it out in the Discord radio and during the race, and so I kind of knew something happened. He didn't tell me what happened, but he just kind of said one word, and I knew exactly what happened. So, yep.
I've said that word many times.
I think we all have.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I guess,
So,
did you
yeah.
know he was gonna pit that lap before you, or was that kind of a shock to you?
Yeah, that was a shock. I mean, I knew I was saving. I didn't know if he was or not, but he would fall off of me and then get back to me. So I figured maybe he was as well. And then he pitted a lap early, and I got it in my head. I was like, wait a minute, he's not going to be able to make it. That's a lap short.
Right.
So after that, I was like, all right, I'm just going to coast it around this last lap. I'll get into the pit box, and we should be good to go the rest of the way. And then I was like, he's going to try and catch me, and then he's going to eat up his fuel. He won't be able to, even if he gets by me, he'll have to pit again. So that was kind of my mentality after, or when when I saw him pit.
Right.
Yeah, and we debated that up in the booth too. Is I was calling it out. Everyone's kind of short pitting here a little bit, maybe counting on a caution, and it seems like you had it mathed out to where you were to the good and he was to the bad. He wound up being to the good. So would you say like maybe you overestimated that fuel calculation a little bit?
Oh no, I was I sputtered getting into the pit stall, and I only got like 2 donuts out of it. I had like point 0.3 left in the tank when I got back around. So, and Ethan said that he was sputtering off of 4 on the last lap. So, I mean, he saved quite a bit. He fell, I think, almost 11 seconds back at one point, and just trying to fuel save. Where I was just kind of running my normal race, normal line, not really doing anything different, other than letting it coast like I had been the first run. And but yeah, he ran out off of 4. So I mean, yeah, even if he would have got by me at that one point, I would have been able to push him a little bit more, and he probably would have ran out sooner. So
Well, hey man, I think Mr. Consistency pulled it off once again. You are the Kevin Harvick of the TDR Veterans and Only League.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, you're really good at saving your stuff, and it pays off for you more often than not. So congratulations on the victory. I hope you enjoyed those donuts down there.
Before we
Oh
let you
yeah,
go, do you got any sponsors you want to shout out? We know you like doing that.
Oh, does
oh
he?
yeah, yes I do. So yeah, Hunterdon Anesthesia Associates, Healthcare Billing, Boss Security Automation, and Bergeson Farms. Thank you to all of those, the primary sponsors. For Tank Racing, we also have some secondaries: Park Brothers Racing, Parkway Lanes, and Invader Zim Designs, Berg Arts Designs, EWRL. So thanks to all those guys. They make tank racing what it is. And yeah, we're starting up our other season tomorrow night at Daytona. We did the duels last week. Big races this week. And man, it's going to be fun.
So how
You
did you
know,
do in the duels? Where are you starting at the Daytona race?
So they did it differently. Only the first 2 spots were locked, and then we're going to go qualify for the remainder actually in the Daytona race.
Okay.
So Tank Racing, my team, 2 of our guys locked out the front row, and I qualified on pole for one race, and another guy qualified on pole for the other race. Both of us did not win the race, so we're thinking we might be able to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tank lockout at the front. It's very possible.
There you go. Well, good luck tomorrow night in that as well.
Yeah,
good
we
job.
appreciate it.
Yeah, and to Dustin's point, the one last question thing. So you're a guy that brings a lot of speed to the track. I don't want to make your head too big. You're a data guy, right? What software do you use to track like your fuel consumption, your tire wear? What's the software that you use outside of like Crew Chief and all the crap all the other iRacing guys use?
Yeah, so yeah, I have crew chief. That's mainly just to do all of the pit stop stuff as far
Mm-hmm.
as unchecking the unchecking the fast repair, unchecking tires, fuel, all that. What I use for actually manual fuel calculations is sim racing apps. I have the crew chief um, display. I guess one of their widgets is called the crew chief when it has like a track map, standings, all the track data, and then your fuel data. And
Oh,
that's what I use as far as tracking where my fuel is. It's a lot more accurate than iRacing. And was a Crew Chief itself, the app Crew Chief doesn't really tell you where you're at on fuel on your like as a display on your screen. So I like that, and I use that to kind of do some quick math during the race.
all right. So you heard it, guys. Race winner using what sim racing apps for data?
Yes, sir.
There it is. Devin, congratulations on the W. Take it all the way into race 3 of season 5, and best of luck next weekend. Next week.
Yeah, I appreciate it. See you guys then.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for your show and thank you for the service.
Thank you guys.
Have a good one.
I messed that up. It was supposed to be thank you for the show and thank you for your service, not.
It's okay. We forgive you, Tommy. It's
That's a
all right.
tongue
It's all
twister
good.
anyway.
It's been a long time. It's been 7 whole days since I've done this. I'm excited to be here. I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. No need to be nervous. You've been up here before. I mean, it's new season, second race
Yep.
in. We still got a long way to go back to Atlanta for the, so there's a lot of time for more drivers to get out here. Let's fill this field. Let's
Yeah.
see what these guys can do with a full field. Let's put 30 on the track and see how Devin Zimmerman, Ethan Thompson, Gaiman, Biznet, let's get these guys a full field and see how they perform. And make it a little more exciting. Guys to get around, holding up. I mean, it's a lot different with 30 guys on the track than it is with 11.
Absolutely. All you guys out there that are veterans, first responders, active duty, if you think you've got what it takes to tackle some of these guys, come on by because they'd kick my butt any day. I've raced with Jay. I've raced with Dustin. They're probably both better than I am, and they'll kick their butts any day. It's some stiff competition up here. And speaking of stiff competition, let's go ahead and get Jeremy pulled up here in the booth.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Hey, Jeremy, tell me up in the booth, man. You got yourself a podium? You feeling good about the third place?
Yeah, I'll take that. Uh, that was a fun little race. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's tough out there, man. Tough track to run at. We talked about the Darlington Stripe. We're now calling it the Colonel Stripe or the Colonel
The
Kiss
Colonel
when it's
Kiss.
at Iowa because of all the corn, of course.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
a solid podium finish, P3. You did well in the first race of the season, sitting pretty good in points. What are you thinking going into next week?
Just trying to stay consistent. Just keep trying to do what I'm doing and trying to keep it behind Devin and Ethan. Try and get up there to compete with them, but if not, at least again, like I said last week, try to be the best of the rest. If I can't get up there and run with
Well,
those guys, but I'm gonna keep trying to get up there with them.
Well, you had one heck of a battle there with Andy at the end. I mean, these guys were battling out. That was probably the
yeah.
best. That was probably the best battle for position we had. Coming down to the last 3-4 laps there at the end, you guys were near each other. Yeah, actually, all race you guys were kind of battling out for third and fourth. So, I made it fun for you tonight, huh?
Yeah, that got interesting there at the end. He actually only took rights during the pit stop and to try and get back ahead of me, and I took four, and I kind of used him up a little too early in that second run to get back around him and put a couple seconds on him, and then when I burned him up pretty good, he came back at me.
Well, it was a good
Well,
little battle, and you ended up pulling out third. I mean, so podium
hey,
finish, and that's where he
held
left
them
off
off.
last year. So,
Yep. I'll take it. I'll take it. Use that momentum to keep it moving forward.
Well,
absolutely.
So we
great
go.
job, and I appreciate the info about Andy taking right sides only because I'm going to ask him about that in the interview. Like I knew that happened.
We'll see how that panned out for him.
Yep.
How he feels about that
Right?
now.
Hey, buddy, heard you took right sides only. We gonna see how that worked out. Oh, he's gonna
So-
think we're doing a better job up here than we really do.
Right? We got some insider information.
Exactly. But Jeremy, congratulations on the P3. Do you guys have anything else to ask this gentleman?
Where are we
Yeah, I
off
do,
to
actually.
next week? Texas,
Well,
ain't it?
Yep, Texas.
Yep, that's what I thought. Just getting that call out for the fans out there. Okay, wasn't for sure. Had you in here, figured I'd ask you that. Jay, go right ahead.
Yeah, actually, I have one question for you. The turnout that we had last year and the turnout that we have this year, I know you've been building and building and building on these. Are you, and the guys that you race with, is there anything out there that you could possibly say to anybody who's wanting to join, who's maybe a little bit hesitant to join, to come out here and join you guys? I know you do have a brotherhood. I mean, maybe there's like a special something that you could talk to people about coming out and joining this group because we really do need a full field.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
absolutely. It'd be great to get a soundbite to use to get out there and share with people. Please, if you have anything, let us know.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about joining us for any reason, that don't be. We're all skill levels, from top to bottom. We're just here to have fun. Yeah, we're competitive, but it's within the spirit of like you said, the brotherhood. We're in the Discord. We're having a good time. We're talking. We're chatting. We're telling stories during practice. We're having a good time. We're racing, and even during the race, we're still just having a good time in there, talking, chatting. Um, but don't be hesitant if you're afraid of, if it's a skill level thing, or you're nervous about racing against us because we've been doing it a while. Don't be afraid of that. Just come on out, join us. We're teachers. Uh, just we want to teach. We want to help people learn. Just come join us.
Yep. Yeah, I think that sums up the spirit of Tyler Daniels Racing as well, about the all-encompassing, the inclusiveness, how non-toxic it is. If you suck, if you are absolute garbage out there, one, we won't judge you, and two, we'll help you get better. There's some guys
Absolutely.
out there. Andrew Bisnet has been tremendous on his development level. Nicholas Smith, you see up
Yeah,
there, Robert Cochran, Robin Pardon. These are guys that came in bottom of the field the first time they came in, and now they're running up there, really tight, putting in some good, clean racing. We had no cautions tonight.
yeah, like I heard that I heard you interviewing Nicholas. We were coaching him in the Discord the entire race, helping him out, trying to help him find a line, find the breaking points, and he was turning some pretty decent laps there by the last, you know couple few 30 laps.
Yeah, Nicholas Smith had a great performance in the first race of the season, and I saw him go 2 laps down early on. I'm like, oh no, we got to talk to him after the race to find out, what happened, and what happened with the race moving forward for him, and he finished the race right. We had a newcomer come in who wound up leaving the event, and if you sign up to a race, you got to finish the race. That's part of the honor of racing. And Nicholas Smith still wound up pulling off a top 10. So big shout out to him. Sorry about the trouble early on, but the fact that you guys coached him up and was like talking to him and letting him get it, that's the community we provide here. So to your point, Jeremy, if any of you guys out there, and again, I'm not a military veteran, I don't speak like Jeremy can about the brotherhood, but come join what we got going on here.
Absolutely. I totally 100% agree. We need to
Yeah.
get these fields filled out. We need to see more of you first responders, veterans, active military. Come on out. I mean, really, it's just a bunch of guys having fun on a Monday night. You get yourselves put out there. You call your friends, family, say, "Hey, come look at me. You can watch us live," and kind of bring it all together. I mean, so it's fun. It's a lot of fun to call. It's a lot of fun to watch. I'm sure it's a lot of fun to drive down there.
It,
Um,
it looked like a lot of fun. I saw some in car footage. I'm like, man, I wish I could.
Yep.
Hey, Jeremy and Andy, they went at it for a few laps. So, I know when you're racing side by side like that for position, it's kind of nerve wracking, but it's fun at the same time. So,
Yep. Speaking of Andy, we do want to get one more interview in here. Jeremy, congratulations on the P3. You deserve it. Good luck taking on those two behemoths up front next week. But we
Yep.
hope for another P3 for you.
All right. Thanks. Thank you guys for what you do.
you got it.
Absolutely.
Have a good
Thank you
one,
for your
Jeremy.
service. All right. And I alluded to Andrew Bisnet here. We're going to get to pull up our Andy, you guys call him nowadays. Times have changed, man. Times have changed. Hey, Bisnet, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy?
I saw a flicker.
Can you hear me?
Got you now.
Yeah, yeah,
There
we
you go.
got you. We got you now. So we noticed on that pit stop, you took right sides only. How'd that play out for you?
Well, I wanted to try to take a chance to see if that would get me up ahead. I knew I didn't have anything for the 2 liters, but I knew if I could try to stay in like third or fourth up there and just hold my line. I did not get to see what the tire wear was like in practice, so it was a total shot in the dark. And it worked out. Just the balance between the new and the old, it just worked out just well enough to where I could kind of hold on to things. Um, I was saving fuel a lot, to be honest with you, and because of that, I was kind of going a little easier into the turn, so I wasn't wearing as much as I know I could have. In the end, like me and Jeremy, we both lost tires at the end. We had fun at the end, though. He and I
It
got.
looked like it.
It
You
was a
guys had a
great
good
time.
battle.
I would get under him. I couldn't hold the bottom. He would get on the top. I tried to. We had a couple lap cars coming through with faster tires, and they were totally great about getting out of the way. Really appreciate that. But it was. This is historically one of my worst oval tracks. It's one of my least favorite to race at. So, just being having something. This being completely new, racing this car on this track, which never races here. Um, that was something new for all of us, but it was fun.
Look, Mr. Biznett. I'm trying to position this whole broadcast as a marketing tool to leverage NASCAR to bring the next gen cars to Iowa, and you go and say stuff like that?
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a good thing then, because if someone like me can finish in the top 5, the Cup guys are going to put on the best show, right?
right. No,
Well,
but
if they
no,
can
man.
race at the Coliseum, they can use this place as a super speedway. I could tell you that.
Right?
Right, exactly.
But no, done a great job over there over the past few seasons. You've developed more speed. You're consistently finishing within the top 10. Even though it was a smaller field tonight, a P4 is nothing to shake your nose at. And you were giving Jeremy up there in P3 a good run for his money. What was it? What's it like in these next gen cars? Kind of learning how they behave at places you've never been before. Like, do you do a lot of practice before these events, or do you just hop in and kind of wing it and go with it? Like what's your strategy bringing a new car to quote a new track and figuring that out and going to race?
Well, I was able to do just do like a test session, a regular iRacing test session for myself, and the biggest thing for me with this car is the steering, because you get the rack and pinion. It's a little different than the previous car steering, and it grabs so much quicker when you try to go and try to catch yourself from a spin, and sometimes you overcorrect easy, it gets you into the wall. But at the same time, there's a little play in the wheel, so I'm finding myself tracks where I would have like a 14-to-1 ratio or a 12-to-1 ratio. On this car, the equivalent, I'm having to be closer to a 12 or 10-to-1, just because it needs to be that much more secure for me. Um, and then just getting used to, well, fifth gear. Sometimes I have to remind myself, hey, there's a fifth gear in here. Um, but
I think that's every
the
one of
brakes
us.
are a little different as well too. It's one of those things where this time next season, in the 2023 season, I'm sure everyone will just be like, can you remember when the car used to be that difficult? Now it's just old hat. But a track like this, like I said, um, it took some time for me personally. Just watching, and following Devin and Ethan right there. I mean, that's definitely a good way to try to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
Those guys are the class of the field, and the fact that I was able to stay with them for like 20 laps made me feel pretty good. So.
Yeah, it's funny watching them. Like you said, class of the field. The guys bring a lot of speed, and they communicate with each other. And at the beginning of this broadcast, I called them unofficial teammates. But when one of them pitted before the other one, it was a complete shock to the other. Like
Yeah.
while they communicate and kind of talk about what's going on with each other, they're also racing each other too. And I think the amount of speed they bring out makes the other guys want to race so much faster and kind of keep up with them. I think they're bringing a lot to this series as far as demonstrating speed, and you're one of the guys that's been able to keep up with them as they came through season 4.
Well, it's I actually attribute a lot of what's helped me in my oval racing to me pushing myself in the other forms of racing. I
Mm-hmm.
love road racing. I never was a
Yep.
good road racer until I came into iRacing, and I've even started doing some of the dirt road and dirt ovals. And some of the stuff you learn there does come over. Um, One thing that surprised a lot of folks when I said this last night is that, especially when it comes to road courses, I don't left foot brake. So the fact that I can get around pretty well, just kind of doing it, I guess not the official road racing way, but even in something like this, if I could do that and try to um, work on my pedal techniques, little things like that could give me the few tenths that might be able to put me right up in the battle with them. But until then, all I can do is watch and try to figure out what they're doing and hope I could take something from them to get me up there with them.
Hey, but you know
Absolutely.
what they say? Like driving a race car is kind of like a golf swing. Nobody's the same. So nobody drives it the same way. There's no really official way to do it. Because we all know that Mr. Ethan Thompson there drives it completely different, and he's fast. So
That's very true. Unfortunately, nobody's watching my golf swing because it's not that great. So hopefully, no one's trying to learn from that one.
So as long as you can get the job done, and it looks like you're doing a great job of getting the job done, because you're fast, you're consistently fast, you're consistently, top five. I mean, top 10 every race. You're up there. So it's not like you're slow by any means. You may be slow in your eyes, but as far as the field goes, and as far as consistency, and no matter who's out there, you're consistently within that upper tier. Maybe not the top tier, but you're definitely cream of the crop as a second tier, as Jeremy put it. So and that showed tonight with you and Jeremy racing it out, and we raced against you, and you're consistently fast, and you're always willing to help everybody. So we congratulate you on that, and thank you for that as well, because it's guys like us up here in the booth that learn from you guys, that learn the mistakes and teach us how to be faster, and that's I think that's about.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that. I mean, everybody in TDR is so great about going back and forth, bouncing ideas off each other, especially with this endurance series we have. It's when you're having to tailor a car to five different people's driving skills, and just being willing to say, hey, let's try this on something. Okay, we'll go out and run 10 laps and see how it feels. Oh, did it work? Yeah, fine. If it didn't, fine. Let's try something else. Just and having that mentality with everyone. That goes such a long way. TDR being non-toxic, family-friendly, and accepting environment. It's exactly what I think. I mean, let's face it. It's exactly what iRacing needs more of. There's always those. We all know the kind of people that are out there. Unfortunately, none of them are in TDR.
I'm in all the groups, and the amount of people that just the posts on the Facebook in the other groups.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
how can you be so cruel to people, man?
And I'll admit it. There are times when I've thought and maybe said something I probably shouldn't have. I really have to control myself now. I just got onto the U.S. Army esports teams for iRacing, so now I kind of have to really make sure that. Thank you. I really have to make sure that I'm watching everything I say and do here. So
Yeah, and it's hard in racing, right? That's part of what develops a professional race car driver. Is anybody can get in a race car and drive one. It takes a lot to drive one with respect and not get mad at those incidents, and to remember to learn from each other and to teach others. Because if it's not competitive, it's not fun. And you certainly have helped many people other than yourself be competitive, and for that we salute you.
I appreciate that. And yeah, I've been keeping the broadcast on too a little bit while I race here, and you guys really do a great job up there. So thank you for all you guys do as well.
You're a beautiful liar, sir.
Don't say that. I'm not beautiful.
But no, Andy or Andrew. What are you going by nowadays? Is it Andy?
It doesn't matter. You can call me whatever you want.
Busy.
Hey, that works too.
Busy?
I've been called way worse. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and recently too, right?
Yeah.
Last week, as a matter of fact.
Before we let you go,
somebody on
though,
the track.
all I want to do is say hit your marks and have fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Andy, have a good week. Congratulations on bringing it home. Thanks for that great battle there at the end. It was very fun watching you and Jeremy battle it out, coming to the line. So keep it up, and we expect to see more of you out here, and hopefully you get to stay in it all season, so you can be a contender up there. Because we'd love to see you, Jeremy, maybe get up there with Ethan, maybe pull a win out here. I mean, you got a couple of tracks that you're good at coming up on the schedule, so you never know. You never know what week it's going to be that week. So
Yep.
We'll see. Every race is a new slate, right? A clean slate and a new chance.
That's right.
Well, we'll see you in Texas. You bring the toast.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Y'all have a good night.
All right, you
Take
too,
care, brother.
Thanks.
Look at this.
You want to talk to race control?
Well,
I think Siggy's out. I'm not sure.
he probably.
I'm just curious what it feels like to not have anything to do all night.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could do that.
Sure. We never talk. We owe him a thank you, because at least a thank you, because he does
Absolutely.
a lot of.
At least a thank you. I don't even think he's probably at his computer. I mean,
He's probably running back now.
These guys race so clean. There's nothing to do up there. Hey, Jim, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us?
Yes, I do. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm doing good, man. What's it like not having anything to do the whole race?
Well, I just look around and I try to help out guys when I can. I helped out Striker a little bit tonight, getting to move the line up a little bit. I talk to everybody. We chat. Just try to keep everybody straight. try to help anybody out I can.
So
So I'm
you
like,
are
I,
doing stuff the whole time.
oh yeah, I'm helping spotting. If I see something, let them know, or try something different. Yeah,
It,
so
it's a good thing when he's not busy hitting that caution button.
Right?
I'm telling you, it's like I don't. I In fact, I even looked and see my caution button wasn't even set up right tonight, so I ran in real quick and set it up. And Jeremy was the same way, so we would if we had cautions, we wouldn't be able to use it anyway. But now we set them up and got that fixed before the race. But I don't know what happened there. I racing glitch, I guess. But yeah, I just help everybody out.
So what's it like? We're about to cut off the broadcast here, but what's it like up there in race control, watching these guys race, putting on these clean events, and just eating ice cream all day?
Oh, that's great. I love it. You know what I mean? I tell you what, I love these guys do really a really good job, and we're sitting there talking before you called me in the booth here about a couple different things we could do. Maybe up the laps a little bit, or change the fuel rating to make it like a two-stop race. Just to mix it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're always trying to think ahead and see what we can do to make it better for everybody.
No,
Um,
I love that you do that. I thought it'd be interesting to bring in race control as we're winding up the broadcast to see what it's like up there and what you guys talk about on the track, because we're not privy to that conversation, obviously. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
it sounds like you're having as much fun as we are on the booth. And I always call the booth the best job in iRacing, but I'm starting to think your job might be the best job in
well, yeah,
iRacing.
because I get the both sides of both worlds, the best sides of both worlds. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah, I get to listen to you guys, and because I do watch the post. You know what I mean? I watch you guys stream, and I'm chatting on there, and I'm talking to the guys. So I got the inside look on both sides.
Good deal, Jim.
Um,
Well,
Try to help everybody we can.
we wanted to give you a big thank you. We always
Yeah.
thank these veterans for putting on their show and their service, and Jeremy for organizing all this. We wanted to thank Race Control tonight for
You know,
Yeah.
helping keep the race under control.
yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
I love it, and it's a little bit that I can give back to them, and I thank you. I thank all the vets and all the guys that are out there fighting for our country and fighting fires for us every night, and just the people that are helping need, and it
Yep.
feels good that I can be help them for a change. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we can do.
We thank you, Jim. We appreciate the perspective from down there on the track.
Oh, not a problem at all. Thank you, sir. You guys have a good night.
You
You
too, Jim.
too, bud.
All right.
Well,
It's
gentlemen.
one of those thankless jobs that people do.
Yeah,
Race
yeah.
control.
Well,
Yeah.
I think when the drivers are clean and there's no cautions to be thrown. I'm telling you, that's got to be the best job. He's probably driving another race while he's watching this one.
Sounded like he might have been practicing some Sebring while he was talking to
Yeah, there's a lot of
Oh,
clicking going on there.
I heard some shifting. Jim was in there shifting for sure.
us.
So he needs to turn on that noise control next time we bring him up here. But I don't think he was expecting any of that. So it's all good though.
Yeah, well,
But no, I mean his
that don't run any of our leagues, but you're in your own leagues and you have a race control. Thank your race control. It's a hard job.
it is a harder job than most people think.
You
Very.
think we got cameras up there? You should see how many cameras they got down there. But gentlemen, Jay, Dustin, heck of a race tonight. We go to Texas next week.
Can't wait.
Absolutely.
Gotta love Texas.
Absolutely.
Big fat
And
fan.
for the final rundown tonight, I'm going to go through that. We had Devin Zimmerman bringing it home, of course, in the top spot. Ethan Thompson right there in second as they swapped the lead there, pretty much 1 point up. Jeremy Gaiman bringing home third. Andrew Bisnet fourth. We talked to them both in the booth. Fifth was Paul Vosberg, who had he stayed out a little bit there on that first caution, brought it home fifth. So that was a good run for him.
Yeah.
Good to see him get a
Hey,
top five.
you guys mentioned him earlier. Apparently, he does that. I had no clue. You guys knew this guy like y'all best friends, man. Paul Vosberg, shout out to you. Look forward to watching you race more this season.
Absolutely. Robert Cochran brought it home sixth. Robin Pardon brought it home seventh. Bradley Hunt is eighth. Ninth was Rick Kohler. 10th was Nicholas Smith. And 11th was Larry Patrick, the newcomers. So love to see these guys, see what they got at Texas. Let's call up some people. Let's get them out there. Let's make it big for the big one there down in Texas. So everything's big in Texas. I want to see a bigger field. Let's get these guys out here.
Yeah, I don't know how you could watch this race and not want to sign up for it if you're eligible. That was some good, clean racing. Green flag to checkers, no cautions. almost perfect pit stops, and a race for third and fourth that can't be beat.
Absolutely. I'm thinking about going and joining my local fire department just so I can race with these guys sometimes.
Right.
I completely understand the feeling.
But then we would miss you in the booth, Jay.
I know, but Tommy's up here. You're up here. I mean, hopefully I bring a little something to it anyway.
Oh,
But I
well.
feel like the energy level kind of went up a little bit when I came in, so that was
It
kind of a
did.
good thing.
It
It
did.
did.
You're like my Andy. Andy would always bring this energy. I just can't muster that. I'm not that energetic of a person. I'm a facts and an analysis guy. You bring that. You bring the excitement.
Absolutely.
Me and Dustin are the same personalities. We both like facts and information, and
Yep.
we're not that exciting.
No.
Jay and Andy are exciting. Jay
Right.
is to
Okay.
Dustin as Andy is to me. And
There you go.
you brought a ton of light to this booth when you came in, and I appreciate it, Jay.
Yeah.
It was great to see you guys up here. That was a great race out on track. Tune in next week for Texas.
You got it.
I think we're done here.
Yeah.
Let's go. I
Wrap it
got to
up.
catch a plane down to Texas, man.
I know, me too. I'm taking a helicopter though.
I'm driving.
Okay.
I'm driving. I'll bring the car.
Well, maybe I'll take. Maybe I'll drive. Maybe I'll just go with you.
We'll just
Dustin,
meet.
I'll just
We'll
catch a
meet
ride.
in the middle in Texas. How about that?
That works for me.
Helicopters land anywhere. I'll get both of you.
Well,
All right, there you go.
you say you could just pick up Tommy on the way through.
Okay.
We'll have some fun. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
You got it. Great. Great. Thank you. Everybody out there in YouTube land, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already. If you're still hanging out there, we appreciate it. Thank you for hanging in till the very end. We do appreciate everybody out there. Thank you to the comments. I mean, we got the Colonel Kiss out of it tonight. Thank you to Tommy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you to Tommy, to Dustin, for everybody in the back room. Dustin for running the cameras tonight. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. From the booth, I'm out of here. Y'all can close it out, and we'll see you next week from Texas.
Later, everyone.